One of the reasons that you're not making the progress that you want in your life, that you're not seeing the fruits of your soul life, is because you're stuck in the pattern of consuming instead of creating. This is something that is happening to all of us because we have already been raised in a generation or two of being consumers of these video games, technology, and TV. And this is doing a disservice because it's training the mind to be consuming instead of creating. And again, when we're consuming information all day long, then our brain is actually less active than while we're asleep. So that statistic is true of while you're watching TV, for example. The implications of this are not acknowledged in our society because we are more attuned to having gratification than long-term success, instant gratification, right? And so when we are stuck in a cycle of consuming instead of purpose and presence and the fruitfulness of life, we feel dead inside. This is where people feel anxiety, depression, and they just continue on with the same patterns of life that are keeping them stuck in whatever life that they don't even like. And it's really interesting because people will defend this kind of lifestyle. They'll defend the hyper consumerism and they will say that they deserve it, they justify it, right? We do this as human beings. We want to stay comfortable and we don't like challenge. Challenge makes our brain kind of go a little, because again, we're not trained correctly. It's not a moral deficit. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's just the mind that's untrained. And so really the task then is to retrain your mind to be a creator instead of a consumer. Turn off the TV, turn off the radio, allow there to be silence in your life. Even when you're driving, turn off all of the things. Allow yourself to go through your day and be bored, because there's this purging that's going to have to happen. It's almost like, when you're detoxing or dieting from a certain thing, you're going to realize how addicted you were to that thing. And what is coming up then is all of the fear, the unprocessed emotions, experiences, traumas, just life experiences, all of that dead energy that wasn't processed, because instead of being processed appropriately, we have just suppressed it. And when you're consuming and when you're just consuming, then the body doesn't have time to digest and process. So in Ayurveda, I learned to be mentally constipated. You can be emotionally constipated from all of these unprocessed life experiences and memories, because we're so inundated with information and experiences that we're not slowing down and allowing ourselves to process. And now this has become so bad that we now fear just processing our life experiences. People are so scared in the Western traditions of experiencing their emotion, experiencing grief, experiencing loss, experiencing whatever might come up, because we don't understand our emotions. We don't understand the physiological sensation of having emotion. So of course, I'm going to help you with this. That's what we do here at Drop Into Being. That's exactly what I teach, is to come back into resonance with your own harmony, with your own life, and to create a life that feels fulfilling and exciting and joyful. That takes creative energy. That comes back to coming into your own creation. You are the creator. You have the divine right here. And the more that we remember and learn how to connect the divine, we will be connected to ourselves, and we will then lead ourselves in a creative way throughout life. And that's also a very huge global shift, a global consciousness that's being asked to be processed, to be digested. We need to digest this big meal of hyper-consumerism and all of these other ideological ways of living that just aren't true, right? Patriarchy, racism, all of the isms, all of the separation that we've been taught to embody and to live with. We're not meant to live with it. If we were meant to live in separation, then our state and our country would be in a much, much different place. We're not alive. Americans are not fully alive. I would even go to say that we are spiritually dead. Or quite honestly, at least in a coma. We are, as Americans, spiritually bankrupt. We have forgotten what it means to be a human being and a spirit having this experience. We have forgotten what it's like just to sit in the backyard and watch the birds, or to go for a walk and to experience joy with the person who's with us. We don't even have to do anything to tend for our food or to make sure that we have a warm house by cutting down a tree and then chopping the wood. We don't have to exercise our free will for our survival, except for going to a job where, again, we're consuming that other person's vision, and we're just putting ourselves into this robotic state of being that is leaving us dead inside. How many people dread going to work? How many people just sludge through the day, forcing themselves into this workplace environment and to do the work? Our brain is actually only has the capacity to focus for 15 minutes at a time. And now imagine that you're sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. And none of that is very creative. And it's certainly probably not your own creative energy. What lights you up? What is something that gives you energy when you experience it and engage with it and think about it and daydream about it? What do you daydream about? Those are the important questions to ask. These are the important shifts that need to be made in our lives when we consider, I've just been a cog in the machine. I've just been on autopilot all of these years. And there is grief and there is anger, and there is so much anger that comes with that realization. And again, then we have to learn how to process this. When we learn to process and be in our body and not dissociate and not distract ourselves, then we can process what's happening. You know why a lot of people have gut issues in America is because we don't know how to process our own emotional states. We are just constantly going like this throughout life and hoping that just someday it'll get better. But I promise you, it'll get better when you release and allow creation to come through you. This is what we're missing. And if you're already here with me, I think you already know this. You know that you are missing this vital essence of being a creator in your own life, and you know this. So I'm so glad you're here. If that is you, please say hello in the comments. Say hi to me. Please let me know that I'm not just speaking to the ethers. And if I have to do that, that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I do want to know that you're here. I want to say hi. So moving on to what maybe you need help with. If you are here and you're like, okay, I already know. I already got it. Yep, that is me. I feel dead inside. So what do I do? Well, the first thing to do is start deprogramming the behavior of distracting yourself and dissociating. Because that behavior will drive you and will not allow you to even practice creativity if it gets in the way, right? So, I want you to just practice sitting in silence more throughout your day, like I've said. Sitting in intentional experiences, even if they're uncomfortable, right? Because we're getting more comfortable with the uncomfortable. We're going to have to do that in order to see where we're hiding from ourselves or where we're hiding from life. So kind of even going towards uncomfortable situations are going to help illuminate where your shadows are, where you're lacking the skills to engage in life. and then just be curious and compassionate and maybe a little competitive with yourself. So be like, okay, so this is something that I'm going to challenge myself to do this week, and I can let you guys know how it goes. So I am a very introverted person, and I often am very shy in groups of people out in the world. I don't like to be in big gatherings, and I don't know how to have conversation that's not super deep. I decided after going to an event that the next time I'm at that event or an event, I'm going to make sure that I talk to 3 different people every single time. I'm not going to allow myself to sit on the sidelines, hide behind my kids, or let other people kind of domineer the conversation. Because I do have things to say, I do have things to share, and I'm a great person and I believe in that. So now I need to act in that. It's really easy to just like stay at home and get to like watch our favorite movie or watch a show that we're really into, because that feels like an activation. We are drawn to those movies and those podcasts for a reason. It's activating the thing in us that we desire. And yet, if we're just consuming it, but then not actually embodying it and, pushing it out into the world through our own free will, then we will still stay stuck in those patterns. So it really takes this integration. Okay, here's the incoming information, and now I'm going to digest it and then push it back out of me into the world, and I'm going to show up in the world. And so maybe we're also going to see this aspect of when we are no longer consuming so much, you're actually participating in so much more. And that can be a nice challenge for yourself, to challenge yourself to show up and participate in life in ways that you haven't been. Trust that this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.